So it all starts with this guy who kicks the shit out of this guy, who gets bailed out by this chick, who goes and talks to this chick, who goes on to kill this guy, who's currently busy trying to stop this guy, who had been previously stopped by this guy, who later bails out this guy, who also had to be bailed out by this guy, who was warned not to do so by this guy, who previously recruited this guy, who later on met this chick, who's looked up to by this chick, who had to talk some sense into this chick, who was mourning the death of this guy, who had to mourn over his own death while in the same car as this chick, who's best friends with this chick, whose ex-boyfriend is this guy, whose brother is this guy, who is also this chick, who shattered the multiverse into complete chaos after killing this guy, who's coming back to fuck with this guy, whose girlfriend is this chick, whose dad is this guy, who invented all the necessary components to stop this guy, whose brother is this guy, who met this chick, who worked with this guy, who helped in World War II to stop this guy, who later on forced someone to sacrifice this chick, who was recruited by this guy, who also recruited this chick, who fell in love with this guy, who had previously been a sneaky link to this chick, who ended up marrying this guy, who's best friends with this guy, who tries to kill his other best friend, which is this guy, who happens to also be best friends with this guy.